Hello, everybody.
Co-creators and catalysts, good to see you.
We've got an exciting show because we have two products that have recently been launched for CoCreateX catalysts and creators to empower you guys to make a difference on your most important and impactful mission. So my name is Matt Cameron. I am an engineer out here. I live in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and my background's in 3D printing and designing and laser cutting and building stuff. So I've been doing it for years, and I'm here with co-founder and CEO of CoCreateX, Nick Powley. Also spent plenty of time here in Boston, mechanical engineer at MIT, right? Course 6?
That's correct, and my wife also thinks I live in Massachusetts. However, I'm actually from Minnesota, originally from Boston, but living out in Minnesota these days, if not on the bus. And we're so excited to share two new products with you this evening and take you, through kind of an intellectual path of innovation. So we'll get right to it.
So first things first, we launched a membership, and if we want to just quickly play this with you and Brandon here, it'll explain just a little bit more.
Yeah. So here's a little bit about CoCreateX and one of the new products that we launched, which is our membership token.
Tell me more about the membership token. What does that get me?
Yeah, so CoCreateX, we're a community of people who help each other with projects. We travel the country, helping people with their, biggest ideas. We put on concerts. We actually physically work on projects. We build things together, and it's our desire to include our closest community members in everything that it is that we do. So to those that we are able and so fortunate to provide membership tokens, you'll be able to use your membership token to get exclusive perks, updated notice, and basically exclusive access, to our events and to the things that we do. So, if you bring your token to our next concert and you show it to the bouncer or use it to badge in, the result is that we'll be able to know that you're there and make sure that you get the appropriate VIP treatment.
Wow, that's awesome. How much does a token cost?
Cool. Good question. So we're selling our tokens for $5 a month or $50 a year. And the really nice thing about a CoCreateX membership token is, as a company of engineers, our goal is to always be improving these. So when we reach each new milestone of token production, what we're going to do for those members who are paying $5 a month or $50 a year, we're actually going to send you a new token with the updated quality standards, updated functionality, whatever it is that we decide will make your token better. For $5 a month or $50 a year, we will very literally send you a new token when we have a new token to launch.
Awesome. I happen to have $50 right here.
All right.
So I'll take a token.
Well, thank you so much.
And hopefully I'll have a chance to work on some of the future upgrades.
Outstanding. So we'll stick President Grant over here. So now,
Yeah.
really,
can I open this up?
I've made this token just for you. And in fact, if I had really made it for you, perhaps I might have made a little bit better job. But here we are.
That's okay. That's cool. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So anyway, so Brandon, you've just opened your membership token. Do you want to read it to us?
Yeah. So it's thanking me for becoming a member. If I tap the power of the community with exclusive perks, I can use this token to join in on the experiences. You need an NFC-enabled smartphone to interact with the token, but you can also go to the website at CoCreateXmembers.com or at CoCreateX.com/members.
And so the idea, Brandon, with this, if I might just for a second, is basically, you've been a member of the CoCreateX community for some time now, and you've been so generous to come with us to Boston. And so, generally speaking, the way that this works is before we, sell you a token, we're going to do our best to make sure that you're thanked, for hopefully, at the very least, some of the things that you've done as the incredible member of the community that you are. So when you ultimately unpack your token, especially you will be able to go to, CoCreateX.com either by way of the, NFC operation, or by going to CoCreateX.com/members. And the result will be that you will be able to then see your membership profile and all of the thank yous that your community members have provided to you for all of the support that you've provided them, prior to becoming a member.
The token, an NFC-enabled masterpiece. This thing is going to be so exciting. If you've ever been part of like a gym membership or anything, we're going to be helping you complete projects, patent inventions, and start and grow successful businesses every single way that we can. And just really quickly, what Nick was talking about in the video of going to your profile. This is essentially where this membership token will guide you, in which case it's going to talk a little bit about what it is that can be done with the token. Right off the bat, you can see a picture of it. It is an NFC enabled token, and in the realm and world of the Internet of Things, this thing is only going to get cooler and more exciting, and it actually looks great. So Nick, do you want to chat a little bit about this and then bring us to a profile
Sure.
of somebody,
Sure,
and we can kind of see
absolutely.
how it works?
Absolutely, yeah. So as Max said, this is our membership token up close. You can see the token on the right with our company's logo and these 4 little holes in the corner. They allow for a multitude of different mounting options. You can design and build a necklace, perhaps you 3D print it, and you can slide and snap this token in there so you can wear it on your neck. On the other side, you can see the NFC tag, which is this little doohickey here, and there is the token mounted to the certificate with the UPC and some of the membership information. So, a nice little product, a convenient way to make sure that our members are always included, and a wonderful way to connect directly to your thank yous. Whenever you tap with the NFC tag.
Awesome. Do you want to show us somebody's profile of kind of where that NFC tag will ultimately bring you?
Yeah, absolutely. So Mac, if we were, for example, to give you a token, which obviously you've already purchased one. We're hoping to deliver it any day now. I'm working my hands to the bone. The result is that when you tap your token with your phone, it will take you to your membership profile where you can see all the thank yous that you've received, all the thank yous that you've given. Maybe some information that we might enter in, specifically about you, and then ultimately here are, the thank yous. So we're hoping that people will be, warmly greeted by the thank yous that their community members have sent them. Ultimately, when they join CoCreateX, they purchase a membership token, and they activate it for the first time.
And what can you do with thank yous? Why are thank yous important?
Yeah, thank yous are really important, Mac, and thank you for asking. Because when you thank somebody, you're honoring the commitment, the sacrifice, the dedication, right, that they've exhibited, towards helping you do something that presumably you care about, and in doing that, you're able to recognize them for the skills that they have. The determination to complete whatever it is that they helped you to do, and you're simply recognizing them for being a helpful and thankful person.
That's so cool. And we're in the midst of taking a poll on our Facebook page as well of what types of perks, what types of things would you like to see to help you complete that project you've always wanted to complete, whether it be writing that book, recording that album, inventing that product, or launching your own business so that you can be successful by being who you are and doing what you love. We want to know your thoughts on this. In fact, I'm going to turn the phone on just in case, and please, let us know what things do you need most to inspire you and encourage you to follow your passion to do what it is that you love to do. Open phone lines now. Let's see if we get some. We've missed a couple.
We have a horrible track record answering the phone.
And if you're seeing this on YouTube and/or any time besides Monday the 24th at 8:30 p.m., this does not work. So this is just right now.
You'll be calling into somebody
Cambridge
else's
people.
television show.
So one of the other products that we have just recently launched is a way to solve a problem that we have seen with creators, which is a lot of times people are afraid to collaborate on projects because they're afraid that their ideas will get stolen. And one of the next products is actually using blockchain technology, which is essentially an immutable ledger. I like to commonly define it as a Excel spreadsheet with data that can never be changed by another human being. It's just time stamped and it's immutable in time. But what we're doing is using blockchain technology in order to help people protect their intellectual property and
we
share
got a phone
their
call.
intellectual property.
Hello.
Yes, I'm calling into the show.
Oh,
how's
outstanding.
it
Well, thank you for
going?
calling.
Oh, right, that's so funny. I'm streaming you on one day. How you doing?
Hey,
Good, how are you?
That sounds like Henry.
Yes, it is.
All
Henry,
right.
nice talking to you.
Henry, oh my gosh, you gotta see this new launch of this product, this blockchain. But first, how can we help you on your projects?
Well, so I'm curious. Can you tell me more about protecting intellectual property?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so basically, we've got a few patents that we'll be talking about tonight. Additionally, we are going to talk about an intellectual property product that we made. So just to kind of cover the basics for people, a patent is not the right to do something yourself. Instead, it's the right to exclude others from doing that which you claim in your patent. So just as an example, if I had the patent for a stool, 3 legs and a seat, and Mac had the patent for, a chair, specifically the back for a stool, if I had the stool patent and Mac had the back for the chair patent, Mac could prevent me from making a chair because, I couldn't put the back on the chair because obviously that's Mac's patent, but I could prevent Mac from putting the 3 legs, on the bottom of the stool, right, attached to the back. So again, the patent is a tool that you can use to exclude others from doing that which you've claimed, and the implications of that, within the domain of intellectual property and of invention are significant. So tonight we're going to actually work through 3 different patents. One by a good friend of mine named Alex Slocum, who taught me a lot about engineering, and we'll get to that momentarily. And then 2 more, just inventions that I've worked on and that I'm passionate about.
And Henry, maybe very quickly you could just share, the product and kind of maybe anything that's not confidential, but maybe a specific question as it relates to intellectual property that you're dealing with.
Well, so I'm working on a few ideas, and they're taking shape. But I was wondering if CoCreateX helps in this regard.
Yeah.
And how much does it cost if you help?
Great question. So most of what we provide people is free. We if you catch us in person, we'll try and answer questions as best we can in person. If you go to the CoCreateX Facebook group and ultimately ask your question there, oftentimes people will answer the questions there without any charge. If you would like to speak with one of the lawyers that we work with, oftentimes they'll meet with you at least once or a couple times for free, just kind of give you some pointers. And sometimes we even have attorneys and people who are qualified who come to our events that you can speak with at our events and in person.
Yeah, and
That's great.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you,
definitely.
guys. I think you're doing a great job, and I'm enjoying your show.
Thank you, Henry.
Yeah.
And thank you for being my first caller.
Yeah, and Henry, tune in. We're about to give a demo of our patent-saving, or I guess intellectual property logging on the blockchain app that we literally just launched. So it is currently free today, and with this membership, we're likely going to, kind of figure out how it's going to be done in a little bit. But Nick, this is a great transition.
Yeah.
Do you want to maybe do a quick demo here?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Okay, guys, take care.
thank you, Henry.
Hey, thank you
Talk to
so much,
later.
Henry.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So switching over to our new CoCreateX blockchain intellectual property product. So basically, for those of you who are of maybe the millennial generation or the baby boomer generation, if you had an idea for a new product or a new invention, one of the things that people would very popularly do is write down their idea on a sheet of paper. That's probably the first thing that dates, this solution to the problem. And then ultimately, people would mail the invention to themselves so that it went through the postal service, got postmarked, and then ultimately arrived, at their house in a closed envelope that they could save. So if ever they found that someone else was, practicing their invention, they could demonstrate that they invented it perhaps first. The USPTO has changed slightly with the America Invents Act, but still there is a demand, for a product that will enable people to document, when they created something. So let's go to our email, Mac. So this is actually a product that Mac and I worked on. It's called the Firewave. It's a device that makes fire dance to music. And basically, the way that our intellectual property blockchain product works is if you have a picture of your invention or something written about it, you can very simply email it to blockchain@CoCreateX.com, and you can write in the subject of the email, whatever the name of your invention is or the scope of your invention. You can send it out, and basically within 15 to 30 seconds, you will receive an email back from blockchain at CoCreateX that ultimately has a confidentiality agreement automatically created that has the hash for your invention at the top and the scope of your invention written below. So if you, for example, invented this Firewave concept and you ultimately wanted to share it with somebody else, without the risk of, effectively having them steal it, and there's a whole bunch of asterisks, after that, you could very literally send your invention to blockchain at CoCreateX. We will hash your invention for you. We will put your, hash into this, confidentiality agreement that, effectively cryptographically details, what you're sharing, and then also includes, whatever you call it. And then what we do is we actually will instantly delete your intellectual property so that we don't hold your IP, so we can't go look at it and see what it is. And then we literally just save the hash for you. And then if ever later you would like to prove that you had invented something at a particular time, what you can do is you can forward the email that we would ultimately send you, which is the picture and the hash, to blockcheck at CoCreateX or even back to blockchain. And then very literally it will reply with verification success, who the sender was, and then ultimately the time and the date, Greenwich time, when it was sent out. So this product ultimately allows for a person, to document their song lyrics, their artwork, their idea, their invention, whatever it may be, to send it to an immutable ledger where its representation in a hash can be recorded and recalled for proof of authorship at some point in the future. So it's a really great product, and our goal with this product is to use it to help people, much more quickly, be able to share their ideas with each other, using the appropriate agreements and with the appropriate, records of invention and authorship. CoCreateX.com.
Yes. So another really incredible use for this. A lot of scientists, any scientists out there, you should take note of this. CoCreateX.com. If you go into the IP blockchain section of CoCreateX.com, which you can find in the drop-down menu, you can learn a little bit more about this. But this is meant for just taking pictures of your lab notebook and creating these confidential hashes if you are interested in protecting your intellectual property. And this is not saying for sure you're going to get a patent or for sure anything. But what this is going to do is this is going to provide immutable proof that you created something, you documented it in history and time in a ledger in a way that will never go anywhere. So I'm excited. Hey, we worked hard on this.
Yeah, we did.
And CoCreateX, we can help you guys protect your intellectual property. Start taking pictures, start sending that to blockchain at CoCreateX.com, and we can kind of get going from there. So,
and just to be real clear, so the way that it helps you to prove authorship or the fact that you created something is the fact that you would have the record of the creation of that thing before anybody else did. So there's it's clever in how it works, but we have to be careful regarding what we say about it.
Of course. All right. So we also wanted to go a little bit further into intellectual property. Nick, how many patent submissions and patents do you have?
So I've submitted dozens of U.S. and international patents, and we've actually called up 3 of them for you tonight. The first one is not a patent that I created, but I really like this particular patent because it's thinking differently about the solution to a problem. So this is a patent that was filed by a good friend of mine named Alex Slocum. Alex is a professor at MIT, and this is a boring head for a deep well drill bit that you would use to drill a oil and gas well that can be steered miles underground. And so basically the previously existing technology was such that there was a little piston that drove the flapper on the side of this spinning drill bit, so that every time the drill bit went around, the little flapper would push just at the right time to steer the drill bit in the direction that it needed to go. And these used to wear out all the time because that little piston, the seal would fail, and then once the seal failed, the device would no longer work. So what Alex did was he thought differently about how this problem could be solved, and he created a drill bit that literally has no seal. It's just simply a ball inside of a kind of little chamber, and when you basically push on the ball with a viscous solution, the result is that the ball pushes out, pushes the little flapper and steers the drill bit. And years after Alex made this thing, in 2008, it seems as though he filed his patent. The result was that not a single one had ever failed in the field. So this is a great example of don't take a solution that doesn't work for granted, right? Invent around it, think about it differently, and build something that creates new value for the world. The second one that I'd love to show you guys this evening is actually something that I made when I worked for a company called 3M. It's a big company. They make the Post-it note. They make the extreme Post-it note that's on our bus. And this one is really thinking differently about the problem as opposed to thinking differently about the solution. So if you go in for surgery, there's a probability that you might get a surgical site infection, which could be devastating, if not deadly. And basically, people have been working for a really long time to reduce the sources of infection in surgery. So they'll clean the surface of your skin. They might put a big, adhesive, kind of film down over to lock the bacteria into your skin. When they open your body, they'll ultimately, clean out the inside with, antimicrobials and, other types of solutions. And what's really cool about this particular invention is that we call this the Pop-Tart drape. And so this little Pop-Tart drape has, kind of a top and a bottom, and it's filled with an antiseptic material, so that when you incise through it, the antiseptic material basically leaks out, into the edge of the wound, and it actually kills the bacteria around the edge of the wound. So this is a really cool product, specifically a patent that 3M filed, and it hasn't been made into a product yet. But the real value of this is that it's thinking differently about the problem to be solved. Right? It's not just thinking different about the solution, but it's literally addressing a whole new source of infections in surgery. And then the final one that we'll talk about before we get to what we've been working on, with this awesome flexible gooseneck, is this device here. So this is a vertically expandable spinal fusion device. With a physician, we invented this coaxial screw gear and this mechanism to expand this little device, in a person's spine. And the reason why I wanted to share this with everyone this evening is because when you have an idea for something, it can take you a very long time to build it, all the way through to the end. But if instead, before you build it all the way through to the end, you begin testing it immediately, the result is that as you're continuing to build it, you can make changes that will save you, enormous amounts of time and money. And so in this particular case, before we ever had a device that looked anything like this, we very literally just took one threaded shaft, we put it inside of a second threaded shaft, and we ultimately, affixed the outside in a little vise, and we literally pounded on this thing with a homemade jackhammer to ultimately prove whether or not this device would backdrive and the device would collapse and ultimately fail in the body. So again, the point of this example here is when you have an idea for something, you should begin testing it, even in the most rudimentary context, immediately, because the things that you'll learn, right, in just a second or two, even when you expect, right, that it's not going to work or that it's going to work great, so you don't need to test it, are going to actually inform, right, the subsequent steps of whatever it is that your product might become.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nicely done. And Nick
High five, Alex.
Yeah, Nick is just like crushed it with intellectual property, and I've learned so much from him. And even since working with Nick, I've filed a handful of different provisional patents, as well as a design patent. And just very quickly, I know we only have about a minute left to be live on air, but design patents in general can be good ways to kind of develop something that can help differentiate your product. Based on the actual design of it. So for example, one of the more successful design patents was the Palm bottle. So it's pomegranate juice, and if you can see this, you find them at different stores, but this Palm bottle has a very unique kind of bubble-like shape to it. And the bottle was so different and so unique, and it could catch people's eye on the shelves. And just that little bit of eye-catching on the shelves and differentiation was a giant selling point for a lot of people, and that design patent did very well. So it didn't create anything completely new, but it differentiated itself, and they were able to protect that design of that bottle to do very well. I have similar patents of the area. We have about 10 seconds left on air. Hey, we're going to be back next week, every Monday here in the Cambridge CCTV studio. Thank you so much, and use our products. Let us know, become a member.
CoCreateX, peace out.